Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/citizenho. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hello there.
Hola.
And welcome to the
106th, I think.
the centennial episode of
Well, it's a little bit more than centennial.
the free episode. They're all free. The patriotic episode.
Yeah, sure.
We are recording this on July 4th, 2017, the 241st birthday of America.
Happy birthday, America.
Murica. And
Yay.
while we're doing this, I'm smoking ribs for the first time in the backyard. What could be more American than that?
Yeah, well, you're American.
And I'm
You're smoking
proud
ribs
to be
for America.
an American,
No,
where
you
at least I know I'm free.
Are we really that proud this year?
I know he didn't.
Oh, if you're a WWF fan, maybe.
WWE.
Yeah, WWF.
So Joe Cocker died.
Really?
Yeah.
When? Today?
I saw it on Facebook. Like,
Why did I not hear about this? Or did this happen? No, I feel like this happened a while ago.
Joe Cocker.
Now we have to find out when Joe Cocker
Oh,
died.
he died December 22nd, 2014. Never mind.
Yeah. I was like,
I
okay.
saw someone post something about it today.
What? Days like today, they miss Joe Cocker?
Or speaking of Joe, we were driving the other day. We were listening to the 80s on A and on Sirius, and they were doing like the Oscar-winning movies for the 80s every year.
Okay.
Up Where We Belong won the Oscar one year. Love lift us up.
What movie was that in?
Something I hadn't heard of.
Oh, God.
Back to the internets.
Interwebs?
Up where we belong.
All right, just stop.
Where the eagles cry.
Just understand, you can't sing. Stop trying.
Neither could Joe Cocker.
Yeah, you can. In that gravelly sort of way.
An officer and a gentleman.
Oh, okay. My parents had that on VHS somewhere.
Those are those square DVDs?
Yes. Rectangular.
Rectangular. Three-dimensional.
That too.
So yeah, I'm
With those spools inside of them.
using my smoker for the first time.
Yay.
It's a lot of work. They need to make it like easier to use. It should just be like ribs, button, and 4 hours later you get ribs.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It actually does take time and effort.
Yeah, you have to play with like these different exhaust ports to get the temperature right.
Yep.
I was a little too high before, so I had to lower it now to get back to where I was. Fun.
Yeah. I think the thing that you really want is like a probe thermometer to check the inside temperature of the meat.
I have one I could use, but
Meat.
they say not to open the lid because if you open the lid, it'll add 15 minutes onto the cooking time.
Yeah, well, I think what my brother does with it is he sets up the probe inside ahead of time.
I need to pick one of those up. But
This way he doesn't have to
ribs
open
are pretty easy to tell when they're done. According to their smoking guide, pork ribs.
Yeah, no, it's not like somebody's listening who would care.
I have a whole rack in there cut in half because I couldn't fit a whole rack on.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they take 35 bricks of charcoal, about 2 to 4 woodchucks. I put in 5 because I used a couple smaller ones. And then it says internal temperature doneness. Meat begins to pull from the bone.
Yeah.
And it says about 4 to 6 hours. I put them up I started probably about 10 o'clock they went up.
Okay, so they've been in for
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, once they get the flavor...
If you put them in at 10 o'clock, they've been in for like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to pull them around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
It won't go higher than 250 degrees.
No, well, you shouldn't go higher than 250.
And then if it's a little underdone, you just throw it on the grill for a few minutes too.
I guess, yeah.
But they say don't sauce it when you smoke it.
No, you don't necessarily need to sauce it after you smoke it.
I bought some barbecue sauce, but
So leave it out for people, and people can add it if they wish.
I dry rubbed them.
Yeah, I prefer ribs to some degree without sauce on them. Just eat them right off the bone and enjoy the dry rub.
Yeah, I found a recipe online. It's like cumin, chili powder, cayenne powder, brown sugar, salt, pepper, white pepper.
Okay,
It's got a little bit of
right.
kick to it, but it goes right on the fat, and I let it sit overnight, so it'll dilute it when the fat drips off.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the fat will melt away.
Yeah. But like I only have room for one rack, and we're gonna have more people than I have, so I'm gonna do a second rack on the grill. That one I have to cut the fat off.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, it takes forever to cook.
Yeah, well, one thing you got to be careful about though is when you cut the fat off, then you lose some of the juiciness.
Yeah, I found a recipe online.
Okay. Fine then.
And you don't put it on direct heat. You put it on the upper thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, so how are you celebrating July 4th?
I'm here
Oh, yeah.
eating meat.
Meat.
And
What is more American than meat?
blowing shit up? In more ways than one.
Ba-dum-bum. Physically and psychologically.
Yeah, well, we blowing everything up now, so.
You hear about our buddy Kimmy?
What?
Our buddy Kimmy?
What?
He's
You're
the
talking
head
about
of
Kim
North Korea.
Jong-un? Yeah, I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about. What?
That he now has an ICBM? Well, he says he does.
Well, he says he has an ICBM. The U.S. officials seem to say that it's a like a medium range. They think it can hit Alaska. Maybe.
Did that test they did a couple weeks ago work, where they like launched a counter missile to take out a missile?
I think so. I forget.
What are you doing, Dave?
Somebody posted some weird thing on that I see on Instagram, and I can't tell if they're showing off like a big package of fireworks or not.
Khan just called me.
Ooh. Your other boyfriend?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Text him. Call Marissa. Podcasting.
Hey, there's a title for the episode. Call Marissa. Podcasting. ... Yeah, wow.
So apparently Trump doesn't like Trump. Apparently Trump doesn't like Morning Joe.
You think? He hasn't liked them for a while, or at least he acts like he doesn't.
They used to actually have a good relationship because Scarborough is conservative.
Yeah.
And they play well off each other.
But his wife is.
I guess
liberal.
I don't really fiance.
Oh, fiance. Excuse me. Yeah, but yeah, El Presidente seems to have some obsession with writing about women bleeding. It's a little gross.
I don't trust anything that bleeds for 7 days without dying, Mr. Garrison.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. What he did is definitely conduct not becoming the president of the United States.
Yes.
But we knew he was going to do this, though.
Well, yes. We all did. He's doing the same shit he did when he was campaigning and before he campaigned.
Well, the thing that amazes me is the people that support him still support him. The people that still hate him. But the mainstream ones, I think, are pulling away from him.
Oh, the mainstream ones there's the thing. Here's the problem: is the mainstream Republicans pull away every time something like this happens,
and then they go right back.
Then they kind of go back when things calm down a little bit. Not so much that they go out and start outright supporting him, as much as they just go back and start working on whatever heinous plan they're working on, be it healthcare, tax reform, or whatever.
Well, McConnell did not get his healthcare bill passed.
Well, not yet. They postponed the vote.
It's going to have a harder time going through the Senate and the House.
Yeah, well, it didn't have such an easy time going through the House either.
Because it's going to get, if it gets too conservative, you're going to lose the moderates. If it gets too moderate, you're going to lose the conservatives.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's how you govern. Mm-hmm. It's called compromise.
They won't even... Here's the thing. Will the Democrats... If they engage with the Democrats, come up with a bill that everybody could work with, do you think the Democrats would join on? Because I feel the Democrats are just as guilty as the Republicans of everything that's going on in Congress.
Oh, they've been just as... Trump complains about the Democrats being obstructionists, and yeah, they probably are. They're doing the same thing the Republicans did to Obama for at least 6 years. And does that make it okay? Does that make it right what they're doing? No, I didn't agree with it when the Republicans did it. I don't really agree with it when the Democrats do it. The guy's the president. Suck it up and figure out a way to get something done.
My favorite was I passed 38 legislative bills without Democratic support. No, you signed 38 executive orders that had 0 legislative.
No, well, actually, I was reading something about that. Apparently, there is like 38 bills that are passed. I don't know how.
He signed 38 executive orders.
Yes, but there are bills that have been passed, and I think now it's up to like 41.
They're all minor, nonsensical ones.
Most of it, yeah. I mean, he hasn't gotten any of his key campaign promises through.
Well,
yet.
Tax reform will never get through Congress.
It'd be nice if they could reform taxes to be to people's benefit.
Yeah, it'll be to people's benefit.
Yeah, just not us.
They should be paying their higher share because they. I once arguing with somebody about a flat. Somebody I was know supports a flat tax, and I just explained to him why a flat tax didn't work. And he's like, "But it would be fair." So you take two people, one making $40,000 a year, one making $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
Let's assume there's a 10% flat tax.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's going to be hit more, the guy with the $4,000 hit or the guy with the $40,000 hit?
Well. The guy, okay, I something tells me what you're going to say is the guy with the $4,000 hit because it's somehow a higher percentage of his.
It's harder at that income. Low. It's harder to live on. The $4,000 taking out of your income is a higher. If I have 360 net of 400,000 net.
Yeah, but it's still 10% of your income.
But it's a harder hit on the lower income guy.
Yeah, but look at what people are paying now. You don't think that they're getting?
Oh, we pay like 30%.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was using those numbers for mathematical purposes.
Yeah, okay.
So let's assume a 30% hit. The $400,000 guy is bringing $280,000. Still more than livable. The $40,000 guy is now bringing in $28,000 a year. Try supporting a family on that.
Yeah, well.
Murica. It's all, I think, Roosevelt's
fault.
But
I do think that there are a ridiculous amount of tax loopholes. That wealthy people take advantage of to the point that they pay like 0.
Well, it's not. They use the alternative minimum tax.
Okay.
So what it is say you make $500,000 a year.
Right.
After your deductions, it comes to this. Because you make that much money, you have to pay a minimum of this, regardless of your deductions. So say let's assume you make $500,000 I think it's 39.1 is the highest tax bracket.
Okay, maybe.
Something like that. So after all your deductions, you come down to like $18,000 in taxes. However, the alternative minimum taxes say you cannot pay less than $30,000. So you have to pay the $30,000 even after your deductions. That's something Trump is trying to get rid of because remember that whole thing that Rachel Maddow showed a couple months ago about his tax returns? He didn't pay taxes. He paid the AMT, the alternative minimum tax, because he deducted enough to make his taxes lower, but his income was so high that the alternative minimum tax affected him more than the actual taxes.
Okay. So he actually, so basically, he paid more than he probably could have
because of the AMT. I was trying to read up on it, and I got a little confused, so I asked my wife's cousin, the accountant, to explain it to me.
Yeah. All I know is I'm pretty sure it was like a year and a half ago, close to 2 years now, when I got increase at work, and I remember looking at my
Net?
at my net, and my net had gone up like a higher percentage than my gross pay because of the way it worked with taxes. Because they only tax you up, you get taxed up to a certain amount of your income, and then after that, the rest of it is like icing on the cake.
Well, that's specifically with there's a maximum on Social Security, too.
Yeah. It was all related. It's so confusing.
And I got a nets where my gross has been like $5 difference because of taxes.
Yeah. So we'll see. Ugh.
Have they approved increases yet?
Actually, they just did.
No.
I just got it approved.
No.
Finally, it takes effect in 2 weeks. Well, no, it takes effect actually as of like yesterday or the day before.
Was it a decent one or no?
It's the same 3% that I got last time, which is okay, but nothing
$10 a paycheck.
Maybe. No, it's more than that. It depends on how my take home is, but it'll be more than $10 a paycheck.
It'll be under $100 a paycheck.
Probably, yeah. After taxes and everything.
Yeah. This thing, in order to get like, I think $5,000 is the minimum raise you have to get in order for it to actually make it like a ding on your paycheck.
Okay.
It's like weird. I did the math once.
Yeah, well, big corporate being what it is.
Yep. I'm going to Tejas on Sunday.
Why?
Work.
Why?
I have a customer there.
Why?
They live there. Shut up.
Why?
Shut up.
Wait, you went to Tejas once before, too.
Oh, I like this customer. They're cool. I have to fly into Dallas and then take a puddle jumper to San Angelo.
Oh, fun. Watch lots of people carrying guns around.
There was a giant ad for guns in like the baggage claim.
Well, I told you about one of the first local TV commercials I saw in Syracuse when I was in college. It was some place selling safes, and they were advertising the safes as a great place to store your guns.
Oh.
That's how I knew I was in a slightly different part of New York State at that point.
Do you know what the Monday after Thanksgiving is in the state of Pennsylvania?
Gun Day? I don't know.
Deer Day.
Oh.
All schools are closed so people can go hunting.
For the entire state. So even if you're in Philadelphia,
no.
school's closed?
My friend actually wrote a letter to the editor of our school paper because we were the only school in Center County that was open on Deer Day.
Okay, but like schools in Philadelphia are closed on Deer Day? I don't know if
it's like, it's probably rural Pennsylvania, like Western, but
yeah, that would be my guess. I don't think Deer Day matters in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
I want to see how my smoke is doing. Entertain people real quickly.
What? You have to run out and go look at meat? You already did this, cheater.
I'll show you my flame is kind of low. Hold on. Entertain people.
Yes, be entertained. Good Lord. Scott's running away. Has to go check on his meat. Damn you, hurry up. Slacker. Should have planned for this before. Ding ding. Scott, I hate you. Yes. You're evil, evil, evil man. Very bad man. So yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with El Presidente. He's NVTS nuts. Life sucks. Politics sucks. My podcasting partner sucks. As he stokes his fire. I was going to see how long I could actually go in silence, but no, you people will be bored. That would be horrible. Scott's coming back.
Got a little low.
Had to go abandon the podcast for a big rack of meat. Shame on you.
You've abandoned it for less. Like your wife's grandmother.
Rack of meat, wife's grandma. Person, rack of meat.
Rack of meat counters anything.
No. No, I'm sorry, it does not.
I had to open the vents and I added a little more coal.
Good for you.
There's a little door I have access to. And I was able to take a look at the ribs. They look delicious.
I'm sure they do. I'm looking forward to it.
So, apparently he also tweeted like a picture of CNN anchors, and it was like an anti-Semitic picture because it listed all the Jews that work for CNN.
Was it? I thought that the video he posted came from some like anti-Semitic source. Lovely. Such a lovely human being.
Well, like, this is definitely conduct in becoming of the president.
Yes, we know this. Not impeachable. He's just an asshole.
He doesn't realize that it delegitimizes his entire presidency.
Because it's the same thing he's always done. He's just doing what he always did. He doesn't think he needs to. In fact, he specifically doesn't change because he's president, because that's what his supporters want.
He tweeted something the other day. I have to pull it up.
Other than Mika Brzezinski's bloody face?
Yep. What was it? Come on, Twitter. Come on, Twitter.
Tisk, tisk.
Wrong account.
What, do you actually follow Donald Trump on Twitter?
No, I won't follow him, but I'll read his tweets. What did he say?
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
What did he say? My use of social media is not presidential. It's modern day presidential. Make America great again.
No, you know what? Yeah, I don't have a problem with a president using social media and posting on it. It's not that he posts, it's what he posts.
Use it as a positive way to engage people.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Look, the point of the president shouldn't be to separate the country further. It should be to bring the country together, regardless of political opinion.
Yeah, well, that hasn't necessarily been the case for a long time.
Obama never, ostracized people.
Well, he did and he didn't.
People didn't like what he did, but...
People didn't like what he did, and that ostracized them. And there was a certain refusal to work with the other side on his part, too.
But there's also
I saw something. It was some documentary where they had interviewed John Boehner. It was pretty informative. And one of the things that, at least on Boehner's side of the story, was that they were meeting with Obama, negotiating something. I don't even remember what it was. And the Republicans, there was something that they wanted out of the bill. And at one point, Obama just said, "You know what? I'm the president. We're doing it my way. That's it." And then he walked out of the room.
Healthcare.
I don't know if it was healthcare or tax reform or something else, but it gave an interesting insight in that, basically, I think Obama was willing to negotiate up to a point, but at one point when he just felt like it couldn't go anywhere else, he just said, "You know what? We're doing it my way because I say so." And I think that to some degree ostracized the Republicans too. Didn't help.
There was a vote on for the Republican caucus to obstruct anything he did, though, the day he was sworn into office.
Yeah, well, but guess what? As soon as Trump went into office, the Democrats, they didn't have an official vote on it, but they basically did the same thing. They all got up. Schumer, Pelosi, they all got up in front of the press and said, "We will block him at every turn."
But here's the other thing I'm going to say. I don't feel it was that bad with Bush and Clinton, though. Bush didn't really do anything I'm trying to think of any big laws that came out when Bush was...
Patriot Act, but that got passed bilaterally because it was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifics, but I feel like...
I know Clinton was Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yeah.
And DOMA.
And Clinton's healthcare
that failed
attempt.
Though.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the thing with the healthcare is they needed to take what's good with Obamacare and fix it, not throw it out and come up with crap what they came up with.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that they don't understand. Oh, yeah,
they don't understand. Obamacare had heart without responsibility. I don't even know. This has some responsibility and no heart.
Yeah, well, it's all personal responsibility. What it boils down to is you pay for it yourself.
What?
And the other thing that I think the Republicans are trying to do is they don't want the federal government controlling it. They'd rather have the states make their own decisions.
I understand, but help the states.
Well, and I think the problem is that there are some states, like you look at abortion, there are states that are just going to completely block it. So then you have to drive one state away, 2 states away, depending on where you are.
And your insurance won't cover it.
To get something done. And yeah, your insurance might not cover it. So then what? Then you're screwed.
But they're also doing the Medicaid rollback.
Yeah, I know what Medicaid is, but then there's also, apparently there's, I think with some of the Medicare rollbacks that they're doing or cuts that they want to do, it'll screw over a lot of the veterans because the VA system will be gutted.
I mean, but
Trump talked about how he was going to take care of the veterans.
Yeah. Nobody takes care of the veterans better than he will.
Uh-huh. Nobody knows ISIS better than he does.
I hate it when he says stuff like that.
He always says stuff like that.
I don't know.
That's his shtick.
Well, let me see if I got smoke back. Hold on. I'm just looking out the door right now.
You're going to go check? Well, that's okay.
No, I can see it from here. Now I can see smoke.
It's okay. It's time to pay the bills.
Before I couldn't see smoke. That was bad.
Yeah.
After we're done, I'll lower it a little.
Well, now we can pay the bills. Go to www.audibletrial.com/citizenho and you can sign up for a free 30-day trial account and get a free audiobook download. There are thousands upon thousands of titles to choose from, such as
The Daily Show with Jon Stewart presents Murica, the audiobook. By Jon Stewart and the writers of The Daily Show. Narrated by Tucker Carlson?
No, really?
Narrated by Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty funny book. I read. I own it.
I own it as well.
Haven't looked at it in a while, but it makes fun of America. This is pre-Trump, though.
I just love that the book they put in that stamp in the inside cover like it was a public school book with like who owned it in the year.
Okay.
So that was the book that I took, and I took a brown paper shopping bag and made a book cover.
Okay. So, did you watch Last Week Tonight this week?
No, I can't. I'd never stay. Unable to stay up for that anymore. So
it's on demand. Wait, drop me.
Yeah, I know.
So apparently there was this Hall of Presidents and First Ladies wax museum that closed, and they auctioned off things.
Okay.
So Rachel Maddow got a president. I think Stephen Colbert got Zachary Taylor, but he really wanted Martin Van Buren, so Jon Stewart got Martin Van Buren and has a video of him giving Stephen Colbert the figure. So John Oliver... this is good. So John Oliver goes, so we didn't buy one. We bought 5 because we're that stupid. They got Richard Nixon,
okay,
Bill Clinton, Gerald Ford... Oh, no, Jimmy Carter. Who are the others?
Nixon, Carter, Clinton.
It was Nixon, Carter, Clinton. Might have been Ford. I don't think it was. I forgot who the 4th one was. And the 5th one was like Zachary. No, it was Warren G. Harding.
Oh.
And they made like this movie about Warren G. Harding, like a fake movie in the starring the Wax Museum, and like they got like Anna Kendrick, Laura Linney, James Cromwell, all acting against this wax figure. Marissa's asleep next to me, and I'm laughing so hard trying not to wake her up. Oh my God. That is my favorite show on TV right now.
John Oliver.
Oh yeah.
I have to say, a lot of his end of show stunts are great.
Yes. Some of his mid stuff. I like when they make fun of the local. Well, this week actually was interesting. I meant to talk to Marissa about it. They talked about the local news.
Yeah, well, I know they make fun of like Channel 2 in New York a lot.
Yeah, the weatherman.
Not just the weatherman.
No, but the main story this week was about this company called Sinclair Media.
Okay.
And they own all these news, and they like.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of them.
And they have like these must-air segments where they have like these guys come out and say these nonsensical things on the air, and so Seattle is owned by them. So Seattle airs the most must-air sequence at like 4:50 in the morning.
Yeah.
When the people aren't watching them, and they're buying like Tribune Media Group too, which is a pretty big one.
Yeah, I know. I that's who's buying Tribune.
Yeah.
Because Tribune owns Channel 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
What? You have some love of Channel 11?
I don't watch the news. I really watch CNN. That's where I get my news stars.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of the internet.
Yes.
Vote for us at the Podcast Awards.
Oh, yes.
We are self-nominated. I have to pull up the URL. Podcast. It's the Podcast People's Choice Awards.
That's what it was.
So if you go to www.podcastawards, click on the People's Choice, and nominate Citizen Ho for the comedy show. We're on there. Look us up.
Yes, vote for us.
Please.
Vote.
We'll get we'll put a link on our Facebook and Twitter. So, but yeah, look up Citizen Ho. We're in www.podcastawards.com. Then click on the People's Choice. I'll put a link on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, all social media.
Yeah.
Sure.
Naked pictures of B. Arthur.
No.
Why not?
I don't really want to see that. Never did.
Her. Yeah, I was about to say something about her vagina being really dry, but just yeah.
Yeah, let's just not go there. That would be horrible.
And so Kevin had a third personal milestone this week.
Became an uncle again.
You finally beat me on that run.
Ooh.
His crazy sister-in-law had a daughter.
Yes, who will probably be equally as crazy, but we'll see.
I hope not. I actually kind of like your brother-in-law.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I will give him that.
He has infinite patience.
Yeah, well, look at his wife.
So does your father-in-law.
To some degree. I've seen my father-in-law's patience crack.
Well, if you've been dealing with her for 40 years, let's see how you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Was she nutty this week?
Yeah, a bit.
Well, any good stories?
No, not really.
Oh. Or
Just,
nothing you want to tell on the air?
Just, I mean, I would say mostly just typical nonsense, but nothing major, nothing really worth talking about. Sorry, just not that interesting.
Aw, man.
What can I tell you?
And on that note, I think it's time for movies.
Yeah, I think so. Doot. Okay, bring up the browser. There we go. So we start off with Man Underground, starring George Basil, Gregory Borowicz, I don't know, Pamela Fila. An ex-U.S. government geologist makes a low-budget film documenting his experiences of extraterrestrials. What? It's not a documentary. It's a fake documentary, I guess.
Mockumentary.
Well, I think it's a movie about somebody making a documentary. I think that's rotten.
I'm going to agree. Somebody's up here.
One. Yeah, it's just my wife.
Okay. Spider-Man Homecoming. Who's Spider-Man?
Gee, I don't know.
Starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Marissa Tomei. Your webbing's clicking like this. Sorry. And Michael Keaton. A young Peter Parker Spider-Man, Tom Holland, who made a sensational debut.
He's Jewish? Spider-Man?
Who made a sensational debut in Captain America Civil War, begins to navigate his newfound identity as the web-slinging superhero in Spider-Man Homecoming. Thrilled by his experience with the Avengers, Peter returns home where he lives with his Aunt May, Marissa Tomei, under the watchful eye of his new mentor, Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. Peter tries to fall back into his normal daily routine, distracted by thoughts of proving himself to be more than just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But when the Vulture, Michael Keaton, emerges as a new villain, everything that Peter holds most important will be threatened. Yeah.
So Michael Keaton's playing Birdman.
Basically.
Again. No, I'm pretty sure that'll be fresh.
Yeah. I may be seeing it this week.
Okay. Next we have A Ghost Story, starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara.
I think it's Mara.
Rooney Mara.
Her dad owns the Giants.
Yeah, I know. A Ghost Story follows a recently deceased young man, Casey Affleck, who returns to his former home as a benevolent, spectral presence, repeatedly trying to connect with his beloved wife, Rooney Mara, and over time, others who pass through the house. As time unfolds, he arrives at an increasingly deep understanding of love, loss, his place in the world, and the world beyond.
I liked it the first time when it was starring
Patrick Swayze?
Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go rotten.
I don't buy it. Yeah, rotten.
Austin Found. Mike Myers, Linda Cardellini. No, I'm just kidding. Linda Cardellini, Skeet Ulrich, Jamie Presley, and Patrick Warburton. A woman hatches a scheme to make her family instant celebrities by having her ex-boyfriend kidnap her 11-year-old daughter for a month.
Huh? What?
This is one of those movies that I think could be really funny, but it's not going to be critically acclaimed. I'm going to go rotten for that reason.
I'm going rotten just because the plot sounds stupid. Okay, next we have Do You Take This Man? Starring Anthony Rapp, Jonathan Bennett, Allison Hannigan, and Thomas Dekker. Daniel, 40, Anthony Rapp, and Christopher, early 30s, Jonathan Bennett, are very different men in their interests, their choice of friends, their ways of handling life stresses, but they are very much in love. Aww. And they are getting married tomorrow. At least that's the plan. Triggered by the unexpected arrival of a long-shot childhood friend of Christopher's.
Long lost.
Yeah, what did I say?
Long shot.
Oh, oops. Long-lost childhood friend of Christopher's. The grooms-to-be confront their differences and lean on their friends and family to get through a day filled with surprises, stresses, and uncertainty about their future together. And
What?
The genre listed below is simply gay.
I think we'll be labeled as homophobes if we go rotten, so I'm going fresh for that reason.
No, I think this might actually be critically
Yeah,
acclaimed. So, yeah, I'll go fresh.
Hickok. Luke Hemsworth, Trace Adkins, Chris Christopherson, and Bruce Dern. Infamous gunslinger and outlaw Wild Bill Hickok, Luke Hemsworth, attempts to escape his past by settling in the small town of Abilene, Kansas. The mayor, Chris Christopherson, captivated by Wild Bill's unparalleled gun skills, offers him a job as the town marshal. Attempts to protect the town are soon challenged when a band of outlaws threaten Wild Bill and the laws he administered. Among the outlaws are powerful saloon owner Phil Poe, whose relationship with Bill's ex-lover Cameron Richardson stirs tension. Poe puts a bounty on Wild Bill's head, but with the help of lawman Hardin, a.k.a. Little Arkansas. Why is it called Arkansas, not Arkansas? Anyway, Wild Bill sets out to fight the villainous bandits and save Abilene from danger. I'm going to go fresh.
Okay, I'll go fresh on it. Maybe.
Santoaya.
Martin and Margot's arrival in the village of Santoaya challenges the traditions of the town's sole remaining family, igniting a decade-long conflict that culminates in Martin's mysterious disappearance.
Documentary cred.
Yes, apparently.
Super Powerless. Josiah Polimus, Amy Prosser, Natalie Lander, H.P. Mendoza. A superhero loses his powers shortly after turning 40 and must adjust to his new life.
Huh?
That actually sounds kind of interesting to me.
It's a comedy.
So I'm going to go with indie cred because it sounds very indie to me.
Okay, I'll follow that. Why not?
Wait to see the stars of the next one.
Undercover Grandpa. James Caan, Jessica Walter, and Dylan Everett.
Sunny.
When the girl he likes goes missing, Jake enlists the help of his grandpa and his World War II buddies. Okay,
James
that just sounds
Caan,
horrible.
what happened to your career?
That's going to be rotten.
From The Godfather Part 2, The
no,
Godfather to Elf to this. Elf actually was a really funny movie.
Elf was funny.
To Flickster.
Probably one of his best movies in like 30 years.
Okay, Spider-Man Homecoming, 93% fresh.
Of course.
Oh, I can't see movies this week because they already... early in the week. We actually were seeing next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Man Underground. 100% fresh. A ghost story.
How many reviews for Man Underground?
8.
Okay, I guess that's legit enough.
A ghost story. 86% fresh.
Damn.
Austin Found. No reviews. You take this, man.
Yeah, didn't they already make that and call it I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry? Well, not really.
No reviews.
Aw.
Hickok.
Hickok.
Quark. No reviews.
You're a clock.
Santo
Aya.
No reviews. Moral of the story is go see Spider-Man.
Yeah, sure.
No reviews and nobody wants to see that one. Undercover Grandpa. No reviews. Because we did too early in the week. Oh, sorry about that.
For shame.
It's Kevin's fault.
Yeah, no. You had the same page loaded I did, buddy boy.
It's Kevin's fault.
No.
All right, it's gonna be a short episode because I got to go check on the ribs. So have our social media savant post the link to the podcast awards. So vote for us.
Yes, vote.
Tweet us at CitizenHoPod, Instagram at CitizenHoPod, Facebook.com/CitizenHo. Like us, review us, rate us on Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play Music. I'm Scott.
I'm Kevin.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye-bye.
Station.